Okay, so for this design, I'm going to use Stark. So I'm going to apply that over the entire nail. And then I'll pop that in and cure that. I'll apply one more coat. So I'm using my line of light just to make sure I've got good coverage. Okay, and I'll pop that in and cure it. Okay, so now that it's cured, before I continue, I just want to cap it in matte on. Now, this is also good because if you do something that you're not quite happy with, you can always wipe it off and know that your base color is protected. Okay, so we'll cure that. I have my number 6 design brush. I'll make sure it's nice and clean and just dry. And then you can use either or. I want to create like a flower. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to just tap some color into the center so that I know where the flower is going to begin. And then from here, I'm just going to create some petals by just dragging out the color from the point. And then I'll just rotate the brush, the tip, sorry, or the nail. Or if you're working on a person, you'll need to rotate the brush. So as you can see, and I'm not doing all the petals the same. Some I'm doing a little bit wider and others a little bit thinner. I want to keep a gap between the flowers, so you can see that I've actually joined, between the petals, sorry. So you can see I've actually joined that bit, so I'm just going to come back in and cut it in with my brush just to separate it. So there's the start of our flower. Now I want to cure that now before I continue to the next step. Okay, so for this one, I'm going to use Bolero Blue because I want to show you that you can actually still shade with options colors, and it looks really effective. So I've got a little bit of product on my brush, and I'm just going to tap that around the center of the flower. And it's okay that I'm going in between the lines now, because this is only just shading. So then I'm just going to press that out so that it travels down the petal a little, or blends down the petal a little, and it's still nice and soft. And we've got a little bit of shading there. Now the other thing I want to do is I want to come in and just add in some shading around the outside of the petals. It's actually really, really beautiful to blend and shade with options colors as well. Now I don't want my shading to be one, solid circle around the whole flower. So I'll put my color in and I'll come back and I'll just adjust it according to where I want it. So I'm going to add in a little bit more here and just drag that out a smidgen more So you're only using the tiniest bit of product. I'm just deepening some of those in between bits. And then I might tap this out a little bit more up the top as well. Just going to clean my brush off and soften that a little. Okay. So once I'm happy with the general shading, I'm going to pop that in, cure it. Okay, and now I just want to add in a little bit more just to deepen. So I've cured that, and I'm just going to deepen around the outside edge of what would be the center of the flower, or what is going to be the center of the flower. So I'm making a bigger, slightly bigger circle. Make sure it's blended by tapping it. Okay, and then I'll pop that in, cure it. Okay, so my next step is I've got some white, and I'm going to create like a line, a straight line, using my number 3. So I have adapted my number 3 brush. Oh, well, you can use you can use Linet or titanium. This line's slightly crooked, so I'll just fix that. Okay. Oh, keep dipping in the wrong one. And then try and match it up for the top bit. Again. It honestly does not matter, whatever you're comfortable using. Linet is great because it basically allows the product to keep moving, but they both work well. Just going to straighten that up a little, and I might make this a little bit wider. So then I can come back with my number 6 and I can just tidy that up. That line's a bit wonky, isn't it? Just fix that up. So it's better. And I'm just going to reinforce this line here. And actually maybe even that other one. Oh, do I need to? We will. Okay. So we've got our lines in. Am I happy with them? I feel that this one could be a little bit narrower. Now I'm happy with it. Okay. Now, you can either pop that into cure it, or you can go straight into the next step. I'm going to go straight into the next step. And I'm going to get some more white on my number 2. And now I just want to add in a little bit of definition to these petals. So for the top, I'm just going to tap the colour, and then when I get to the inside bit, I'll create my line. So just at the top, I'm just kind of tapping it. So it's kind of feathering off the end of it. And once again, if you feel that your lines are too heavy, you can go back in and remove some product. We want it nice and fine, so I'm just going to go back and remove a little bit. Okay, so I'm going to pop that in, cure it. Okay, and now I want to grab some Aurora, and I'm going to apply that to the middle of these two lines. Just make sure I get right in there so there are no gaps, and then I'll just gently pull it out. And I'm going to do the same with the top. Probably got a little bit too much product there, so make sure you take it off. Otherwise it'll just be a little bit too messy. Okay. So I'm just tucking it in so that it sits in between, nice and neatly in between those two white lines. Okay, and then I'm going to grab a little bit more and create the center of my flower using the same. So I'm just poking it to spread it out a little. But I also want to keep it round. And there's our center. So we'll pop that in and cure it. Now at this point, it will give you a really good idea as to how much shading and so forth is there. And if you want to, and you feel that it needs a little bit more depth, you can go back and still add in a little bit more. So that is totally up to you. If you want that really soft, subtle look, you can leave it. If you want it to be a little bit more bold, then you can add a bit more in. It's just so simple and easy to do. Just make sure that once you've added it in, you know, a little bit of extra color, just make sure you go back and blend it. So there's just a little tiny bit more. And I can do the same around the edges of the flower and even shadow down the line, which looks really pretty. And I can do the same on this side. So once you know what you can kind of do with the products, the possibilities are endless. You can, you know, create so much with it. And with just a combination of products. So there's a flower. The only other thing that you could add to this if you wanted to is using the white, the titanium white, with my liner brush. I might add in a few little dots. So I like to scatter them so that they're not the same. So inspiration, where do you get inspiration from? Well, for me, I get it from a lot of places. One of the things I love doing is following my favorite artists, and there's so many talented artists out there. And, you know, if I see something that really appeals to me, I'll screenshot it. And then, you know, at some stage, I'll go back and, you know, I'll look through what I've screenshotted, and, you know, I may recreate a design or do something similar. And, you know, that I get a lot of inspiration from. And wherever I do, I like to give credit to the artist that I've, you know, used their technique or followed a similar style or whatever. While I'm talking, I'll pop that into Curate. So yeah, so I think this particular kind of design, I was inspired by an international artist, and I cannot remember who it was at this point. But, you know, my point is that, you know, if you have a look around, you'll find so many things that can inspire you. It could be on a card cover, like a gift card. It could be on wrapping paper. It could be in a book. It could be on a tissue box. You know, there are so many different things out there that you can, you know, gain inspiration from. So it's really worth sort of keeping your eyes open, and when you see something that, you know, you think, oh, I think I could, you know, transfer that onto a nail, then put it somewhere safe until you've got the time, and then you can always go back to it. So I've just coated this with matte on because I want to see what it looks like finished in matte with the glitter, and we'll just pop it in and cure it. And for the reveal, a little bit of prep and wipe. Remove the tacky layer. And there you go. So that's a really cute, pretty, soft design.